Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today we are going to be doing weigh-in number 2 as we continue our video series on healthy lifestyles and how we can better manage our weight using nutrient-dense foods. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind you that starting on Monday, Memorial Day, and going through Wednesday until 5 p.m., we will have our 24 plain and fancy protein bowl recipe book going on sale for one time only 30% off. And that is in honor of what we are trying to accomplish with this video series. This was co-authored by my sister Cindy, and it is the very first book that we published under our Rose Red Homestead label. So that's pretty exciting. For today's video, we're going to be doing it in 2 different clips. We'll start with food density portion that I'm wanting to weigh in with you about. And then my actual weight disclosure with my chart will come in a second clip that we will be doing later in the week. I talk about nutrient-dense foods a lot, and it occurred to me that maybe not everyone knows exactly what that means. We're going to start today with an explanation of what the concept density means in terms of right out of the science books. What does density mean? That will help us understand nutrient-dense foods. So right here I have a bag of frozen corn. It is stuffed in this 1-quart bag, and there's a whole lot of mass stuffed into here. Now, what density is in terms of the scientific explanation is it is the amount of stuff, the amount of mass, the amount of material that is in a given defined space. So sometimes you can pack a lot of material in the same space, which means higher density, and sometimes you can pack a little bit for a lower density. So density is the combination of the amount of mass and the amount of space that that mass is occupying. This is fairly dense. I couldn't fit very much more corn in here, so this package is quite dense. But what happens if I take this same amount of stuff, the corn, or the same amount of mass, and just dump it in a bigger space? Now, has that changed our density? Oh, yes, it has. This package is a whole lot less dense than it was when the corn was packed in here, because there's a lot of empty space in here, lots of empty space. Now, what about if that's one way to reduce density. I could also, in this package, simply reduce the mass by putting fewer kernels of corn in here. And now we've also greatly reduced this density. Winding up the discussion on density as it is defined by science, we might then move that over into the food category by comparing things like white bread versus wheat bread, or angel food cake versus carrot cake. One of those is far more dense than the other one is because of the amount of stuff that is contained in the same space. Now, moving over to nutrient-dense foods. Nutrient density in foods is also the combination of 2 different characteristics. The nutrients themselves, which are micro and macro nutrients, compared with an amount of calories in the same food. If the macro and micronutrients are high and the calories are low, we say that that food nutrient density is high. But if the macro and micronutrients are high and the calories are also high, that is not. Think of a big steak that has lots of protein in it, but it also has other things like a lot of fat, especially if it's made with butter, and the calories are off the charts, and so that would not be a nutrient-dense food. The nutrients in food are grouped according to the amounts that we need. we need larger amounts of the macronutrients, which are carbs, fats, and protein. Those three things are the macronutrients. And if you look on the food labels on the back of a package of food, you will see that those macronutrients are measured in grams, because gram is a larger metric than the metric used for the micronutrients. The micronutrients are vitamins and minerals, and we need a much smaller amount of the vitamins and minerals. And the metric that is used for those is milligrams and micrograms, very tiny, much, much tinier than grams. So the macros are carbs, fats, and protein. The micro are vitamins and minerals. When those nutrients are high in a food and the calories are low, then we have a food that is high in nutrient density. I have spread out right here 6 different foods. Over on this side are the breakfast parfaits made the same way that we made them last week. This is the pineapple and cottage cheese at 20 grams. This is the one with the chia seeds in it for 15, and this is just the plain yogurt with granola and fruit for 14 grams. And this is protein. Even though the macronutrients are carbs, fats, and protein, it's not just any old carbs, fats, and protein. To be high in nutrient density, it has to be complex carbs, it has to be lean protein, and it has to be healthy fat. So those are the conditions that are in front of those macronutrients in order for them to be included in the high density groups of foods. I'm after 30 grams of protein per meal. I have learned some principles from my previous doctor that I'm going to be mentioning all throughout the time because they really worked for me. And one of those was 90 grams of protein per day divided into meals, 3 meals of 30, 30, and 30. The other thing is to be sure that I keep at least 4 hours between meals to allow my body to do the work of digesting. She also suggested that I don't drink my food like with protein shakes or smoothies. What that does, it robs the body of the opportunity to work. And when our body works, it burns calories. And that's what we want. And so I gave up smoothies. I really haven't missed them. I felt like they were a lot of work to do. And we didn't use them that much, but I did drink protein drinks for breakfast a lot. And it's not to say that I won't ever do that again, because I'm going about this in a way that I am comfortable with, and I do not want to put myself under so much pressure that I feel that stress that I felt when I was working full-time and trying to do our YouTube channel and everything else. Stress is my enemy. It may be yours as well. So I'm just doing what I can do within a given parameter, and I'm doing the best I can. So these are are less than 90 grams of protein. Well, I want to fix that. So I'm going to fix that by using these foods over here. Now this is roasted turkey, and this is from Costco. It's really good quality turkey. It's not the pressed lunch meat, but rather it is sliced turkey, which I really do appreciate. And a 2-ounce serving, which with this is almost 1 slice. It's just a little bit shy. 1 slice is just a little bit shy. But look at the amount of protein there, 14 grams of protein for 1 slice of this turkey. This is ham. It is uncured ham. It does not have the nitrites or nitrates added. It is not preserved. It's fresh, so it needs to be refrigerated. And a 2-ounce serving here is 10 grams. Well, a 2-ounce serving is 2 slices. So I've put 5 grams of protein here, and that is per slice. So it's about 14 per slice here and about 5 per slice here. And then my other food that I go to a lot are these string cheese, mozzarella string cheese. And these are 7 grams a piece. Now, can you see that there would be some good combinations to add over here to bring these up to 90 grams? So here is 20 grams. I need, for breakfast, I need 10 more grams. So I can go shopping over here and say, well, I could have just 2 little ham roll-ups right here, and boom, I've got my 30 grams. For here, I need 15. Well, I can come close, and close is good. I could eat a slice of turkey here, or I could eat 3 slices of ham. Well, I'm not going to do that because the calories are a little bit higher, even though this is nice lean ham. Or 14. So another thing that I could do is I could take one of these string cheeses. I could eat 2 string cheeses, or I could have a string cheese wrapped with a piece of ham and come really close to my 30. This is how I plan to go forward, and these are not the only foods that I'm going to be mixing and matching together. And I will share with you more on that as we go forward and as I figure out new things. I'm finding it quite exciting to figure out how to put good foods together. Before we go to the next step, let's revisit our corn demonstration, only I have replaced the corn with peas because I didn't have enough corn. Remember the high density corn in this 1 quart bag? If we think about the bag as calories and the inside, the peas or the corn in the other illustration, as our good nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that are our micronutrients, and the macronutrients of complex carbs, healthy fats, and lean protein, then this is an ideal of what we're searching for. If we take the very same mass, the very same amount of vitamins, minerals, fats, carbs, and protein, and also increase the calories, this is what we're looking at. Same amount, but many more calories, and so this is not a high-density food. This arrangement is what we would avoid most of the time. This is the arrangement that we would hope for, or somewhere in the middle, leaning toward this way. Overall, examples of nutrient-dense foods are fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, low-fat milk, like our milk and milk products, like our cottage cheese is low-fat. Seafood, lean meat, these are both lean meats. Eggs, and then peas, beans, and nuts. I have here a list of the top 30 nutrient-dense foods, according to one author. As I was looking out on the internet to try to find what are the most nutrient-dense foods, I came across list after list after list, and you can do it too. I thought it would be fun for me to just read this list. Am I going to eat all of these foods? There's no way. Jim and I will never eat kale. And I know we always get a big barrage of people saying, but, and then the big explanation. And we know it's very nutrient dense, but what if you don't like it? Well, darn it, if we don't like it, we're not going to eat it. And we don't like it, not in any shape or form, not hidden in powders where supposedly we can't taste it. We're not going there, and we're not growing it. And there are many, many alternatives. We don't need to worry about eating kale because there's spinach and there are other things. I'm going to quickly read this list to you so you can have an idea of what the nutrient-dense foods are. Number 1 is seaweed. That won't be on our list. Liver, beef, and chicken, and that won't be on our list. Leafy greens, like kale, collard, spinach, watercress, dandelion greens, and arugula. Broccoli rabe, I'm going to show you broccoli rabe in just a minute. It's spelled R-A-B-E, but it is pronounced rabe. Broccoli rabe, which is related to, but not the same as broccoli. It is broccoli that does not head. Instead, it just grows stems, and you cut those stems and then treat it kind of like asparagus. So broccoli rabe, broccoli, cauliflower, and other cruciferous veggies like cabbage or Brussels sprouts. Number 5, exotic berries like asawi, goji, and camu camu. We have a lot of goji berry bushes on our property. 6, yellow, red, green, and orange bell peppers. 7, carrots. We're growing carrots and parsnips. 8, garlic. 9, parsley, basil, and other herbs. 10, berries like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. 11 is asparagus, and we've got asparagus growing. 12 is beets. 13 wild salmon and sardines. 14 bone broth. 15 grass-fed beef. 16 green beans. 17 egg yolks. 18 pumpkin. 19 lentils. 20 is artichokes. 21 tomatoes. We're going to grow a lot of tomatoes, hopefully. 12 is wild mushrooms. 23 is seeds, pumpkin, sunflower, chia, and flax. Aha, we've got chia right in here. 24 raw cheese and kefir. 25 sweet potatoes. 26 black beans. 27 wild rice. 28 yogurt. 29 cacao. And 30 is avocado. Now, I'm going to ask Jim to come right over to our bay window, and we're going to take a look at what we have growing right here in our kitchen. My goal with this little kitchen garden is to attempt to grow nutrient-dense foods inside the house, just in case that's the only opportunity I have to grow things if things go south. I'm focusing on nutrient-dense foods, so we're going to start right over here in this bucket. These are carrots, and carrots are on the list. I can't remember what number they are on the list, but if I can grow carrots in the kitchen, I will be so pleased. On the back row, I have dill, oregano, parsley, more oregano, and thyme, and room for basil. I've got basil that will be coming here soon. Then in the front row, I have leafy greens lettuce. This is my second go-round of lettuce. The first ones worked great. They just bolted and were started to grow to seed, so I started another batch. And then over here is my broccoli rabe. I also have broccoli rabe growing outside, but I want to see if I can grow it inside as well. So these will get probably about this tall if it is sustainable in the house and produce those stems that I was talking about. Hopefully we can all figure out these meal combinations to meet what we are personally focusing on in terms of macronutrients, and that they will all be just chock full of vitamins and minerals, those micronutrients that are so important. Next up is the clip with the results of my weight for this past week. Good morning. Well, it is that time when I check in to let you know how I did with my weight. As you can see, we are not at home. We are up at Bryce Canyon National Park, and we have been here several days with John and Cindy. And it's been a little bit of a difficult week in terms of managing my weight, but it is what it is, and we just take it as it comes. I forgot to bring several important things on this trip, and one of them was my weight chart. So I don't have my weight chart to show you, but I am up 1 pound from last week. So I have a net loss now of 2 pounds, and I'm fine with that. In fact, I'm thrilled because I thought it was going to be a lot more than just being up 1 pound. But, I know that sometimes we take some forward steps and sometimes we take some backward steps, but we press forward nonetheless. Now, behind me are our bikes, and they are hooked on our trailer. I'm going to turn the camera around because I have a very sad story to tell you. This is how we carry our bikes up here at Bryce. We carry them on the back of our truck once we unload them from the trailer to keep them locked up. And we have a very nice back bike carrying rack, or so we thought. And this little piece right here goes up and over the tire to hold it in place. Well, this green one is my bike, and I asked Jim to not put it up so high, but to put it down a little bit lower, because they sit on this rack. The back tire is strapped in right there. The front tire is held in place by this. Well, we were, first full day here, we were out doing some errands with the bikes on the back, and we stopped at a place, and it was just horrible. We don't know what happened, but my bike bounced off of the rack somehow. This little piece, my suggestion to have it halfway down, didn't work very well. This is the correct way to do it. Have it up high, almost by the fork. And here is the result of my bike. Broken handlebars, broken gears, and the fork is just mangled. Needless to say, I'm not getting any bike riding done. And it just kills me because John and Cindy have been on several wonderful rides. We wanted to do a few things with them. I've also had a day and a half where I was so dizzy I could hardly get out of a chair. All that aside, no excuses, because I was able to, I'm feeling better and I was able to walk today. So I'm back at it, and as soon as we get home, we're taking this bike in to get it repaired, and then we will be back on our bikes at home. John and Cindy are coming down for lunch in a little while, and then we are going to have a conversation on the type of snacks that we take with us when we ride bikes that are high protein and high nutrient density. I was going to add the snack segment to this video, but it is already long enough. We will be presenting that conversation as we sit in our clam and have a great conversation about snacks for next Friday's weigh-in. So we will see you then, and thank you so much for joining us. I feel pretty good about my week in spite of all of the difficulties that occurred. I hope you feel good about your week, and we're in this together, so we're going to continue to press forward. See you next week for weigh-in number 3.